All right, Shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Ruach Kodesh. I'd like to say double honors to my teachers, the men whom I've learned this truth from, the apostles, bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. And I'd also like to say Shalom and salutations to the elect that's out there preaching this word in truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Shaquat, one of the brothers in the branch of Great Millstone, Montreal, back with another lesson. And this lesson that I'm going to be getting into today is going to be an in transit, going into the inward man, right? Because the inward man is what's important when dealing with the Heavenly Father. Right, the Heavenly Father, He desires the inside to be clean and pure. You know, not your outward appearance, man. You shouldn't appear righteous outwardly. You know. Matter of fact, let me start here in the book of Samuel's. Actually, before I get that, let me get this real quick. Proverbs 21. Salakia, bear with me. I just want to get this definition of a specific word real quick. Proverbs 21. Yeah, so this is Proverbs 21 and verse 2. It says, every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but Yahweh pondereth the heart. Right? And then when you look up that word pondereth, it says to regulate, measure, estimate, ponder, balance, make even, level, weigh. Right? Be equal, be weighed out, test, prove. So that's what the Lord does. He weighs and tests and estimates, the heart, the inward man, right? And that word heart in the Hebrew is lab, that's where your spirit is, man, right? Your heart inside of you, your mind, man. The Lord is weighing your mind, testing your mind. The Lord considers the mind, for lack of better words. The Lord considers the person that's within. Right? So this is 1 Samuel 16 and verse 7. It says, but Yahweh said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, Salakia, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but Yahweh looketh on the heart. Right? So this account was going into, when King David when it was King David's turn to go, to be told that he was going to be the next king in Israel. Right? And Samuel came into Jesse's household. Right, King David's father, right, and King David had other siblings. He had other brothers that were there, and Samuel pretty much requested that Jesse's sons be presented before him, right, and Samuel, when his first encounter with King David's first few brothers was that, this is surely the one that the Lord is going to choose to be the next king of Israel, based off the way they appeared outwardly, They were tall, muscular, they appeared, or they had the outward appearance of that of a king, right? But then the Lord told Samuel that I'm not looking for a man that has the outward appearance of a king. I'm not looking for a man that has a comely outward appearance, right? I'm looking for somebody, who has a right mind, man, a right heart, because that's what the Lord, that's what pleases the Lord, man. Somebody with the right heart, with the right mind. And King David was the one, and King David was the last to be shown, and he was the youngest, and he didn't look anything like his brothers, man. He was still young, he was probably small still, but his heart was a good heart, man. And the Lord delighted in him, and the Lord chose him to be the next king of Israel because of his heart, because of his inward man, So that's what the Lord delights in, your inward man, So let's get this. This is Matthew 23, and I'm going to start at verse 23. It says, "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone." All right. When you look up that word omit, neglected. All right. They neglected. They took away. Let me see if it gives more. Define. Matter of fact, let me look up that word neglected. Neglected. Yeah, the definition of the word neglected in the Google, it says neglected describes something or someone not receiving enough care, attention, or maintenance, leading to deterioration or abandonment. Right. Look up the word omit. Omit means to exclude, leave out, or fail to include someone or something either intentionally or by mistake, right? So they omit the more important, they neglect, they take away from the more important matters which of the law, like judgment, mercy, and faith, man. They were more focused about appearing righteous, but that's not the right mindset to be in, to want to just appear righteous and not be righteous. The Lord pretty much said that they're blind, right? Because they were blinded to the fact that, they're deeper than just appearing righteous. And, that's why he called them hypocrites, because they're acting. They're putting on an outward show to deceive the people, to make it seem that they're righteous, but inwardly they're not. Within or behind closed doors, they're not doing what they actually are appearing to seem to be doing. Right? Right? That's why the scriptures say, do as they say and not as they do, man. Roughly paraphrasing. It says, verse 24, you blind guides which strain out a gnat and swallow a camel. Alright. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you make clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within are full of extortion and excess. Thou blind Pharisee, cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye are like unto whited sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead man bones and uncleanness. Right. Even so, ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within you're full of hypocrisy and iniquity, man. So that was the concepts of the wicked Pharisees, man. They were so obsessed with how, with their outward appearance and appearing righteous to the masses, man. To the point where, they forgot about the inward man. That's why the Lord cursed them out. Because the outward man does not matter, man. When you take a look at some of the prophets of the Heavenly Father, like for John the Baptist, man, for example, his outward appearance didn't mean, it wasn't as comely, man. Matter of fact, you know what? Let's see what the Lord said about John the Baptist. This is the book of Matthew. Oh no, that's not the one. Let's see. Yeah, so this is Luke, Salakia 7, and I'm gonna start off verse 24. And when the messengers of John were departed, he began to speak unto the people concerning John. What went ye out into the wilderness for to see? A reed shaken with the wind, a weak individual, because a reed being tossed to and fro with the wind is something that's weak, right? It could be easily swayed, right? But John the Baptist wasn't weak, right? It was rough. He ate what? Honey and locusts, man. Right? Verse 24. But what went ye out for to see? A man clothed in soft raiment, right? So he wasn't even clothed in, he wasn't clothed in soft raiment. He wasn't clothed in comely apparel, man. Right? It says, behold, they which are gloriously apparelled and live delicately are in king's court. So John's condition wasn't a delicate. The way John was living wasn't comely, wasn't good looking. It wasn't good looking. Because he was in the wilderness, man. Right? He was living out in the wilderness. Right? But that didn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is what's inside that vessel. What's inside that vessel. What kind of spirit is inside that vessel. And yeah, let's keep going. But when ye out for to see a prophet? Yea, I say unto you, and much more than a prophet. This is he of whom it is written, behold, I send my messenger before thy face, which shall prepare thy way before thee. For I say unto you, right? So, John was what? A messenger of Yahweh Shema Shai. And the Lord takes serious pleasure in his prophets, man, and his messengers, because they're his mouthpieces. It says, for I say unto you, among those that are born of woman, there's not a greater prophet than John the Baptist, but he that is least in the kingdom of the Most High is greater than he. Right? So John was great, man. He was one of the great men of Yahweh Shema Shai. But look at how he was arrayed. It wasn't comely outwardly. So that's just one example of one of the men of the Lord that were pretty much rough on the outside, but inside it's a beautiful spirit, man. And that's how we ought to be. We ought to focus on the outward. We're to focus on the inward appearance and not on the outward appearance, man. Because the inside of the cup is what matters. So, hey, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I'm going to close off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Ruach Kodash. I would say double honors to my teachers, the apostles, the bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, the men whom I've learned this truth from. And as always, shalom to the elect.